Hello, friends. Hi. Hello. Welcome, welcome. My name is Marina Shepelsky. I'm here for our bi-weekly news show about immigration news. And today we actually have a topic that we're going to discuss. And we will get to the news after the topic that I prepared for you. And the topic today is employment visa in the US, how to get employment authorization in the US. Hello, Secret Kim Yang Gallery. Hi, Maria Margolich says hello. Hi, send me a hello, write me a comment. Let me know if you could hear me. Whether you're watching me on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram, just say hi and tell me where you're watching me from and let me know if you could hear me. Please. All right. Welcome, everyone. Just a little bit about myself before I get too deep into our topic today. I'm Marina Shepelsky. I'm an immigration lawyer for more than 22 years. And I'm also a immigrant. I'm an immigrant like you guys. Hi to Nigeria for Cash Magnet One. I like your name. Really cool. Cash Magnet. That's a cool name. Thank you for watching. So I came from Ukraine, um, Ukrainians and Americans, because it's at war being invaded by Russia, and we all heard about it now. We know about it. So that's where I'm from. But I came from Ukraine when it was still under Soviet Union. Secret Kim is watching from Cambodia. Welcome to my show. Thank you so much for watching. Welcome, Anushka or Anushka. So anyway, I went to college here in New York, at NYU, and I went to law school in New York at Fordham Law School. And my office is in New York, in Manhattan, and in Brooklyn. We have two offices. We cover immigration from every angle. We deal with asylum. We deal with defense from removal, but we also deal with employment law. That's what we discuss today. Employment visas in the U.S., uh, how you can get a visa and a green card through work in U.S. and how to get a work permit in U.S. So that's all connected to our uh, topic of employment in the U.S. So we're going to talk about that. I will also discuss how you can legalized in US even today, right? Even today under Trump, you could still legalize here. And I will answer your questions at the end. We'll touch very briefly today upon immigration news because I don't have that much time to cover all the news today, but we will talk about um, what's the most important that's happened. And then K1216 says, hello, I'm watching from New York. Hello. Welcome to my show. So happy you guys are watching from around the world. Drop me a comment if you're just joining me where you are watching me from. Okay. So let's get right into it. What are the major work visas in the US? Well, number one, and the most, like, I guess, the one who uses that is H-1B, and that's for people. I'm just writing something. That is for people who have a college degree, usually, or like a long work experience, and an American company wants to hire them. H-1B is skilled workers in specialty. So this is specifically for tech, science, engineering, math professions. These are really like top fields in US, and we want to hire people who work in those fields and have education in those fields. Usually given for like 3 years, you can renew for 3 more. L1 is for people who are managers, have specialized knowledge, or executives, and the company, let's say, has an office in England or Cambodia or Kazakhstan and transfers them to US as a high level employee. A worker that's a high level worker needs to be transferred to US. And usually you have to prove the home company is connected to, affiliated with the US branch. Then there's the O1 visa for people in arts, science, business, athletics, and that is for people with extraordinary abilities. So they have to be really talented, and they need a sponsor, just like the H1B and the L1, to come here and work in their area of outstanding talent. Then there's TN visa for Canadian and Mexican professionals. So you got to be from Canada or Mexico. E2 is for investors and essential employees. So you got to show that you're from a country that signed a special treaty and you're investing at least 150,000 into the US economy. Then there's H2A for temporary agricultural workers, H2B temporary non-agricultural workers, but there could be somebody who wants hospitality, theme park, landscaping, and so on. So you got to show seasonal nature of the job for this H2B visa. Then there's the R1 religious worker that usually is allotted to ministers, monks, people who work in the church, in the synagogue, in the um, Muslim mosque, anybody who deals with religion and that's their education and job. And finally, we have the J1 exchange visitors. These are all U.S. temporary non-immigrant work visas. Let's talk about the main types of green cards to work, right? Um, let's talk about the EB1. EB1 is for extraordinary ability priority workers. You don't need a sponsor. They have to be really outstanding, extraordinary ability, and you don't even need a sponsor. You could also be a professor or researcher or a multinational executive manager. That's EB1C. Then it's EB2. EB2 is still for people who have exceptional ability or advanced degree, but you have to show something special about it. You need a job offer and either a term labor certification or if you can prove national interest labor. But like if this is somebody that America needs quickly, although quickly means 1 year, 8 months, that's a good time for EB2. You can then there's EB3 for just regular people, usually skilled workers professionals, and other workers. It does require a labor department to be certain classes that plus the waiting time for the visa is another like 3 years. While you guys are listening, drop me a comment and say hello and where you are watching me from. And we're going through the green card petition types that allow you to get a green card through work, through employment in the US, right? We are up to EB3. So there's EB3 for people with like a college degree, that's per EB3, or people who are with a lower level employee, you could still file. But that category just takes longer. It takes about 6, 7 years. Oh, Deborah's watching from Utica. Oh, hello. Sandy told Salty Bear says she loves my jewelry. Oh my God. I was thinking today what to wear for our show. And I look at blue because it matches my eyes and my blue eyeshadow. All right. Then we're up to EB4. EB4 is usually a category that not too many people can do. It used to be the religious worker category. Guess what? Trump closed that program. It's done. It's finished. In September, no more religious workers unless you are citizen. And this category is also for not a working case, but a case for special immigrant juveniles. These are kids who are in the U.S. without parents. and some international employees. And finally, the fanciest one is EB-5. EB-5 is for immigrant investors who come to US to invest at least $1 million if they're going to create jobs. If they don't want to deal with job creation, they can give the 800,000, 800K, okay, almost $1 million to pre-approved regional investment centers. These are usually big projects that the government approves for international investors, and through that project, they sponsor you for a green card. If you have to have a lot of money to just put like drop a million. So that's what we're dealing with when we're talking about employment in the US. All right. So if you like this information, if it's understandable, drop me a comment. Let me know that this is resonating. We're talking about employment in the US, how you can get a visa, how you can get a green card today, right? Not talking about the usual humanitarian visas that I discussed here, but more about like working, getting your status through work in America. Um, okay, I'm starting to get questions. Thank you so much. Edna says that was beautiful. Thank you very much. So, look, if you have a question about something else, that's okay. Write the question in the comments. I will answer it a little bit later, maybe like 5, 7 more minutes. We will get to it. Okay, people on YouTube starting to say hello. Nimesh says hello, ma'am. How are you? Because I'm really good. Thank you, and he appreciates my knowledge. Thank you so much. You're awesome. Oh, this is so sweet. Nimesh says, are you in New York or California? I am now in New Jersey. Like, if you're asking me where am I physically, but our office is in New York, so I drive to New York 3 times a week. All right, people on YouTube are complaining about the sound, and I'm going to apologize. If you watch it later in the recording, it will be much better. It's because of this microphone resonating with the microphone in the phone and in the computer. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so we discussed with you guys uh, the employment status. We talked about the non-immigrant visas, H-1B, L-1, O-1, TN, E-2, E-3, H-2A for agricultural workers, H-2B for temporary non-agriculture, like hotel workers, H-1 for workers, and J-1 visitors. Then we talked about EB-1, EB-2, EB-3, EB-4, and EB-5 green cards through work. And now let's talk about what other statuses can you possibly have to get that coveted this desired employment authorization. Employment authorization now serves many roles. So, first of all, employment authorization tells the government you're here legally and allowed to work here legally. That's a great thing to have. Also, employment authorization tells people that you're not getting deported until your case is approved. Good. Employment authorization triggers the Social Security number being assigned to you, and it's just a really great document. It's also a wonderful form of federal ID, right? So if you want that real ID, driver's license, it's great to have for employment. Here are the statuses that give you employment authorization. Asylum applicant, but you have to wait until it's 150 days since you apply. Then you were approved for asylum. So you didn't just apply like the first status, applicant for asylum. This second status, you are asylee or refugee. You got that status, you're approved, it's permanent usually. And you can get a work permit and a social permanently. Then there's temporary protected status, TPS, similar to like temporary asylum, I would say. Then there's deferred action for childhood arrivals. That's for people who are brought to U.S. as children. Then there's deferred action. For example, while you're waiting for a U visa or you're approved for Brahma, then you get the status of deferred action. Then there's people who filed for VAWA and were approved. Approved VAWA applicants. Then there's U visa approved applicants. Then there's T visa. This is okay. So VAWA is for marriage to a U.S. when you were abused, when you suffered in that marriage, or the marriage to a different person. That's all. U visa is for when you are a victim and then you testify in crime situations, helping the police. That's a U visa. T visa is for people being exploited and abused at their job, at their work, and boss really takes advantage of that. That's the T visa. Then when you file for a green card, you're pending adjustment of status I-485 applicant, you're allowed to get the work permit. Then you can get a permit in some cases as an F1 student visa holder. You have to have it for OPT, CPT, or if you get economic hardship approval. Then there's the work permit for J2 dependents. Then there's J, I'm sorry, the next one is L2 and E2 dependents. Then there's a work permit for people who have parole status, called parolees. For example, you have humanitarian parole status, or you got U for U. Finally, the last two are people who are applying for cancellation of removal. If you are, for example, a VAWA applicant, or if you have kids or spouse who is a citizen and you've been here 10 years, that's the cancellation of removal tax. And finally, certain I-589 asylum application reinstated cases when they reopen your asylum proceedings. So many of you are eligible for one of these. So I invite you to come to our office and do a consultation to see how we can legalize you, get your status, and get that employment authorization that we're discussing today. It is very, very important. And I invite you to book a consultation. My phone number is in my profile. If you're watching me on YouTube, it's also on the bottom of the screen. Um, and also, you can just Google me and find me online or check out our website where I write blogs almost every day, shepelskylaw.com. This is my show where I do not provide legal advice, but I do give people a lot of free legal information. Chai Boy here wants to know where's my office. Chai Boy, we are in New York, and Chai Boy here. Our number, if you want to call us, is 718-769-6352. Okay? 718-769-6352 is our office landline number. That's not a texting number. Okay, so we talked about non-immigrant temporary work visas. We talked about green cards through work. We talked about the categories in which you're allowed to get a work permit, whether you're waiting for, oh, Chibor here in Lagos, Nigeria. Welcome, welcome. So we talked about the categories where you can get the work permit either while you're waiting or when you approved in the status. So this is all situations that you don't have a green card yet. Obviously, once you get the green card, you don't need the work permit anymore. And when you go and you get a job, you just show your green card. Even a stamp on your passport, because some people people get the immigrant visa, get a green card status when they come to US for their immigrant visa. That's enough to work legally in US, and you don't even need a work permit. That, and many people do get a green card after working with us, and you know, this is really uh, like the goal of every immigrant is to get a work permit, employment authorization, and then a green card. This is why I do what I do. This is why our team of lawyers and legal professionals does what we do, because we want to help people get the work permit, social, and a green card. This is our goal, and the outcome is very, very important to. I will get into your questions in 1 minute. Just briefly talking about the major news today is that the U.S. Supreme Court told the Trump administration they're good to go on deporting people to third countries. So, in other words, if somebody gets arrested from there, from, I don't know, Peru or Mexico, now Trump is free to deport them to Sudan, or any other third country. Right now, they're deporting people to South Sudan and to Guantanamo Bay or Cuba, and even Vietnam, of all places. So strange. But so, in other words, these are countries where the people who are being deported, they're not from those countries. These are not the home country of the people who are being deported there, but they're still reported. What's also in the news is that ICE is holding a record high amount of over 60,000 immigrant detainees. The immigration jail filled at 140%. So they're 40% over the volume of people, the number of people that they're allowed to even have in there. That's like illegal and inhumane on every freaking level. But that's what's happening. And what's interesting is 47% of these people, from 60,000 people, 47% would be like about 27,000 people, do not have any arrest record. Not criminals, no arrest record. The rest of them, only 70% of them are convicted. 30% of them, yes, they were arrested, but they were cleared. Their cases were dismissed and not prosecuted. So this is not exactly what people think it is. When people say, "Oh, it's only the criminals who are getting deported," not true. They're deporting regular people. Some of them have deported disappearers. Judges sign warrants, some of them do not. So that's the story. Um, well, um, what else? People in LA and other parts of the country are avoiding going in public and going to the doctor because they're afraid of ICE raids. Um, let's see. Some people are writing in the Boston Globe that the threat of Iran hitting back at Trump because Trump bombed Iran. So the Iranian retaliation fear sparks questions if we are so busy detaining and deporting illegal immigrants. Are we even ready to stand up to U.S. domestic terrorism in response to this Iranian situation? The escalation with Trump is unfolding with Iran and Trump, and it doesn't look like they're worried about the domestic terrorism. It looks like all of their attention right now, the Department of Homeland Security attention, is on deporting people. And I don't know if that's a good, you know, expenditure of our resources, but it is what it is. Brian on Facebook says you always discuss complex issues. It was interesting. Thank you so much. Okay, let's get into your questions. This is when I'm going to answer your questions. Please remember, I don't give any legal advice here. So please talk to us call us for a consultation for legal advice in your case. Renee says on YouTube, I started my EB3 process in 2022. This is the PERM labor certificate. It's almost all finished. Documentary qualified. My priority date is almost current or already current, but the U.S. Embassy in Nairobi is not giving interest. Should I change my country? Yeah, you can change if you have a legal status and you want to travel to another country. You can request it. They might not allow you. Your lawyer can email the embassy and ask for direction, like for example, if you want to do in Nairobi, you want to do your interview in Nigeria, for example, you could call the Nigerian U.S. embassy and email them and see if they are willing to switch you. But you have to have the right to live and stay in the country that you're going, and you might even need to do the medical there. So talk to your lawyer; they will know better than me. All right, let's get to the questions from Instagram, everyone. Uh, Jasmine is watching from Utica. I'm Manal says, hi, I'm Marina. Oh, hi, Marina. I'm 24 years old. My parents are permanent residents. Can I apply for VAWA? So let's talk about VAWA eligible category. VAWA stands for Violence Against Women and Men Act. And you can apply if you are an abused spouse, child, or parent of U.S. citizens or lawful permanent resident, but there are different categories. So let's get into it. Um, you can apply for VAWA if you're married to a U.S. citizen or green card, or you're a child of a U.S. citizen or local permanent resident, but here you are not a child anymore because of your age. Uh, so no, you unfortunately cannot file as an adult um, of a green card holder or a U.S. I don't think you are. Um, right? Jasmine says next month I have an interview for a green card. I hope I will get it. I hope so too. I will really be rooting for you. Thank you. Jasmine says, if my husband is denied for the visa interview, what should I do for that time? It depends the reason for the denial. So I can't really tell you what to do unless we know why he was denied. Trace of Brooklyn wants to know how much do you charge for a consultation? Depends. Some people in the office at 199, some people at 299. I am I think at 399 now. Marina Margolich has a question. Maria Margolich, sorry, Maria. Dear Marina, please help to understand. Are the prices for I-485, which is 1440 in the refugee travel document, 165 already include biometrics or it has to be paid separately? I think right now it all includes it. So I always double check, right? So let's double check. Um, what is the USAF fee for I-35? And you want the I-131 travel document, right? Oh, sorry, you want the refugee travel document. Okay, so the I-485 is the 1440 and it does include the biometrics. And the refugee travel document is 250. Okay. So the refugee travel document, the filing fee is 165 plus 85 biometrics. So altogether, the refugee travel document is 250, but the green card is 1440, right? Okay, let's move on. Okay, people are asking what is our WhatsApp number? It is I'm sorry, the area code is 718 718 679 3131. Okay, Steph Drew wants to know what kind of RFE that USCIS usually requests. It depends. A request for evidence is a request to send them more paperwork. It could be a birth certificate, it could be a police clearance, it could be some joint documents if it's a couple. It depends on the case. Hello from SK Kali. Troy Boyd Harris says, sorry, I'm coming down to US with the education. Can I get a work permit? Just a tourist visa. No. A tourist visa by itself, you cannot get a work. Now, Lakshmi Rani says, who are coming safely from Canada to USA? How can they apply for asylum or not? They can work permit or not. You are from Canada. You are probably not eligible for asylum and work permit. Canada is considered by US to be a democratic, free, good country. Somebody asked me in the questions I saw, is it safe to travel with your advanced parole? That's a difficult question. So generally speaking, I don't know if now is a great time to travel, but if you don't have any social media, if you haven't posted to support terrorism, if you are in status, if your case is pending, not denied, you should be fine to travel. So it's up to you if you want to travel or not, but I think it will be fine. All right, guys, I think I'm going to wrap up my show. This will still be recorded and hanging in in the wonderful Instagram account, right? So you can log into YouTube, watch this in recording on YouTube, on Instagram. I will keep everything there. If you want to go back and rewatch, that's all there for you. Um, all right. I think I'm going to wrap up. Thank you for watching. I'll see you soon. If you have any questions, call our office. Phone number, if you're watching on YouTube, is on the bottom of the screen. You can WhatsApp call us too. The WhatsApp number is 718-679-3131. Or you can just book a consultation on our website, www.shepelskylaw.com. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Bye bye.